Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, and thank you for listening to the Sales for the Nigerian Wedding Industry podcast. I'm your host, Abuja based wedding and event photographer, Tavishima Ayede. Before I dive into the topic for the day, I'd like to give you guys a heads up about what to expect in coming episodes for the future. I'm currently speaking with a friend of mine, Omotola, of Korban Events. She also runs a planning school and a few other enterprises. I'm going to have her on the podcast, and we're going to talk about her own approach to sales, her sales philosophy, her sales processes, things like that. Just to give you guys a little warning, she's not let's just say we don't exactly have the same ideas when it comes to running your sales game plan, but I figured it would be a good idea to have some other voices on this podcast apart from mine so that you guys can see, especially those of you who are newbies or who happen to be in the process of considering whether this is a viable industry to be engaged in or not. Just so you guys will see that there are a variety of approaches that one can use when it comes to this thing about increasing your sales, promoting your business, things like that. So just to let you know that there are other voices out there, and there are a variety of approaches. When is this recording going to happen? We haven't decided on an exact date yet, and that's because the current project that we have on hand is the graduation of her students from her last training program, because she runs a training program. I think it's called the Korban School of Planning, and that is for people who intend to get involved in the industry as wedding planners. So she runs a series of trainings. I think this is their fourth or maybe their fifth year now, where they train people so that they can become wedding planners. And a few of her graduates, if we can call them that, a few of her graduates have gone on to do some good things since then. Well, at least judging from the Instagram handles. And then, of course, it also is very rewarding or gratifying and also encouraging to see that even though people say that because of the current coronavirus situation, maybe perhaps the wedding industry isn't an industry to be involved in because it's not immune to particular kinds of shocks. It's encouraging and gratifying to see that other people find value in this space and are trying to work their way in. Okay, well, I'd like to apologize for all that noise. That's because I'm recording first thing in the morning, and fortunately or unfortunately, my neighbor has chickens, and it's the crack of dawn, so we expect to hear more of those interruptions. That's with the cock crowing. Okay, so now let's get on to the topic for the day. I would like to restate, just to bring something to the fore that I've discussed routinely at different times on the podcast, and that's the idea of who is a customer. And in my own opinion, I would say that a customer is someone who has bought from you before or who continues to buy from you regularly. Now, why is it important to even look at this question in the first place about who is a customer? The reason why we ask ourselves these sorts of questions, who is a customer, who is a client, who is a prospect, and on, is because the answer has really important implications for where we spend our time. And so for customers in particular, the reason why we need to know who a customer is, that's people who have bought before or people who buy regularly, is because that is where we need to spend a huge chunk of our time. We need to be spending a huge chunk of our time with people who have bought before or people who buy regularly. They require a relationship and they require multiple touches. Now, some of you might say that, well, the whole point of me being in business is not to handhold people, but to go out and look for more customers so I can increase my daily bread. And that is not a problem. That is also a valid approach. But in that case, you now need to dedicate someone in your business who is actively trying to maintain a relationship with these people and have regular touches. Now, why is that important? It's important because this leads to repeat business, this leads to referrals, and this leads to business insights that we can use to improve our product or our service. Now, let me give you some examples. Back when we were in Lagos, there was a place where my mom used to buy her cosmetics from. I don't know much about the cosmetics world, so I can't go into details. But let's just say there's a particular lipstick that my mom liked buying at the time, and she could only get abroad. And of course, you don't travel abroad all the time, and it's not, you don't know people who travel every quarter, so getting her stash was a problem. And so she ran into the shop that happened to have it, and it was on Isaac John in Ikeja. That's the road that leads up to the governor's lodge. And so the sales girls there were not too they were not too posh, not too sophisticated, nothing fancy, but they had good common sense, or rather, should I say, good business sense. So they got our details, well, my mother's details, while we were there making the first purchase, and they got her talking. And of course, my mom let on that she was really happy to get it because her birthday was coming soon, and this was going to be her birthday treat, and blah blah blah, and stuff like that. And the sharp girls took a note of all this, and they noted everything down. At the time, I didn't realize that they were recording such things, and this was a really, really, really long time ago. I hadn't started any business venture yet, and so of course I wasn't attentive to these sorts of things when it comes to sales and customer service and things of that nature. So anyway, yeah, I was back in secondary school at the time. So let's say this was maybe I don't know, 15, 20 years ago, or probably more. So we go about our business, and then once in a while, these ladies start sending my mom messages, asking how she's doing, stuff like that. And then after a while, the messages extend to, oh ma, we have this we have this your shade in stock. We also have this season's we have this season's version, this color, this shade. Since you wear so and so for work, maybe you should come in. Let's have a tester session so you can try out this and this and this that just came in. Is the latest line. And then of course the messages, oh happy birthday ma, blah blah blah, stuff like that. And there was one birthday, it was one of those milestones. I can't remember which one. Maybe it was like my mom's 40th birthday or something, one of those milestones, and said, oh man, we have a present for you, can you come in store to pick up? And it happened to be that shade and some other products as well. Now, of course, like I said, these ladies were not too refined. They didn't speak the best English, but they had good business sense. And needless to say, my mom did lots of business with these people for, let's say, close to a decade while we were still in Lagos, just because of this business smarts that the sales girls displayed. So from this example that I'm giving, I hope you can see now that it doesn't require any level of finesse. You don't have to dress a certain way. You don't have to look a certain way. You don't have to talk a certain way. You don't even have to be super educated or sophisticated or whatever. These are simple business tactics that people can use and that ensure you business over for the long time. And of course, my mom didn't only just buy her favorite lipstick from them. She discovered things over time that she could do as well. And I guess that was the point of all those messages that would say, oh ma, we have this new whatever in stock. Yes, we know that you like maple red, but olive green has come in, and it's the newest one in the 2021 season or whatever. Forgive me, I know nothing about makeup, so I'm just making things up. Well, those of you who are knowledgeable in the space, I'm sure you catch my drift. You know what it is that I mean. So, these are examples. That is one personal example that I can give to show how multiple touches, regular touches, and building a relationship with people who have spent with you in the past and people who buy regularly, how this can lead to repeat business and referrals. Well, in this case, I don't know if my mom made any referrals because I don't hang out with my mom all day. So I don't know if she was speaking to any of her female friends and said, oh, you should try out this place. But it's possible. And then, of course, business insight about how you can improve your product and services. I'm sure there are things that they learned from my mom that they were able to tie into business. So let's just say, I'm imagining now, this is me making stuff up, that my mom comes in and then she tries the olive green 2021, session that just, sorry, not session, season, the olive green 2020 season or whatever it is. And she's like, well, it's nice, but it's not exactly for people like me, working class professional. Maybe the younger ladies might like it. And then, of course, those sales girls, as sorry, saleswomen. Let me say saleswomen. I'm not trying to denigrate them. So the saleswomen, I'm sure, as sharp as they were, could have made a note of that, and that would have informed the way that they marketed that new line of lipstick to other customers. So yeah, so that's it basically. I hope this example has been opened your eyes up to why it's important to spend more time with people who have already bought before or who buy regularly. That's assuming you are not convinced. Oh, one more thing, especially about the part of business insights and how you can improve your products and your services, is something that I've benefited from recently. Because if you follow me or you've had a look at my Instagram handle before, you see that we have a wide variety of photography styles up there. And that's because after a while, I decided to experiment to see if we could cater to different styles of photography, because I like to keep things natural, no photoshopping, and I wondered if I could increase the profit line by varying the styles up a little bit. And so I started outsourcing several aspects of the business, particularly portrait work, with younger people, especially young ladies, where a little bit of photo touching, well, whether a little bit or excessive, as I call it sometimes. So, regardless of the level of photoshopping that is desired, I just started broadening things out a bit, increasing the scope of my team and outsourcing some stuff. Now, the reason why I'm getting rid of that aspect of the business for now is because being in touch with customers regularly has helped me understand what my USP is, what the highlight of my style is, and why some people come to me. In fact, in January alone, I've had two birthday sessions already. Two birthday sessions and one portrait session already, doing things my way. That's my traditional way of no photoshopping and focusing on available light, of course, with the flash just to bounce light around. And I've gotten excellent feedback, splendid feedback, and it would seem that that's the reason why some people seek me out in the first place. Now, the only reason why I would know this is because I've been keeping in touch with people. We're done with the session. I hope you like the photos. What did you like? What didn't you like? What did you agree to work with us in the first place? Blah blah blah, and all those customer service conversations, as I call them, and the personal conversations that you have afterwards, kind of show you where it is that you need to lean into. And so for this year, 2020, that is one of the changes that I'm going to be making in my offerings. We're going to be cutting out the outsourcing. So if it's going to be a portrait session where I suspect that the lady in question wants to slay and she wants to shine bright like a diamond, I won't handle it. I'll just make this an outright referral to another person that, oh, thank you very much for getting in touch. Unfortunately, that's not something we can help you out with, but these are our trusted partners. These are Instagram handles. Why don't you have a look? So rather than outsourcing it and trying to get a profit from the transaction and leading to brand confusion in the future, I'd rather just hand it out outright from the beginning, and it's just an outright referral, and I'm not going to make any profits off of that transaction at all. And then follow up to make sure that the people that I'm referring these services to do a good job and remain in good standing with the clients. So this is one example of how I've been able to get good business insight on how to improve my product and how to improve my services. And that's because I've been keeping in touch with people who have bought before or people who buy regularly. So thank you very much for listening to the Sales for the Nigerian Wedding Industry podcast. I'm your host, Abuja-based wedding and event photographer, Tavishima Ayede. Thank you very much for your time and attention. Sorry for the incessant cock crowing in the background, and that's because I have to find ingenious ways to record sometimes. And now that I'm recording real early in the morning, it's 6:30 over here where I'm recording. I figured the kitchen would be a good place to record, and I totally forgot about the chickens roosting on the other side of the fence. So, thank you very much for your time and attention. I'll do my best to get you guys much more entertaining and educational content on how we can grow our businesses using the principles involved in personal selling. And don't worry, next time I'll try to look for a better recording space where we're not going to have chickens interrupting us every 5 minutes. So, you guys enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll catch you on the next episode.